Since Jenelle Evans supposedly lost custody of her oldest son Jace to her mother Barbara Evans, Christmas has turned into a lonely time for her. As they fought for the teen's custody, the former Teen Mom star and her mother had a tense relationship for years. At present, 14-year-old Jace is under the state's care in North Carolina, having fled his grandmother's house. On September 28, Jenelle's husband, 35-year-old David Eason, was charged with hitting Jace outside the North Carolina home of a neighbor. Jace is said to have been attacked by the Teen Mom 2 alum before making a third escape. According to court records first made public by the U.S. Sun, David willingly harmed his stepson by leaving marks on his arm and neck. According to the court filing, the defendant, being the parent of Jace V. Evans, who was a minor, under the age of 16, did so unlawfully and voluntarily inflict physical harm on that child. The physical injury inflicted caused marks on their right arm and left and right side of the neck, and was inflicted by other than accidental means. Following the incident, he was admitted to the hospital and is still being monitored by a physician. Child Protective Services removed Jace from Jenelle, 31, and David following the alleged assault. After the teenager was given the care of his 70-year-old grandmother Barbara, authorities learned in mid-November that Jace had absconded from her residence for around 2 days. Because of their highly visible custody dispute, Jenelle and her mother Barbara have continued to make news. After Jenelle gave up custody of her son to her mother in June 2010, Barbara was granted primary physical and legal custody of Jace, with Jenelle seeing him every other weekend. On January 28, 2021, Jenelle requested exclusive custody of her troublesome son in North Carolina court documents, which were first made available to the U.S. Sun. Following Jenelle's emergency custody suit filing for her kid in January 2021, things between Barbara and Jenelle became more intense. Jenelle told the U.S. Sun at the time she filed the petition that her relationship with her mother was irreparably damaged due to their arguments about who would get custody of their eldest kid. The OnLifeins model claimed in a 2021 exclusive interview that any possibility of her and Barbara getting back together was destroyed by the contentious and still-going legal dispute over Jace. She gave an explanation, saying that the previous 2 years had been difficult at her house with Jace. Nothing significant has changed. A week or so later, Jace broke our agreement to move in with me. A North Carolina judge ruled following a hearing in October that Jace would be under his grandmother's care while David might be arrested for child abuse. Jenelle spoke to the Daily Mail immediately following the filing of criminal charges against David, defending her husband and attributing any legal problems her family is having to her son's mental health. According to Jenelle, the publication, "Right now, the police are investigating the wrong person. There is a vile situation going on, and it's not pertaining to my husband. This story is one-sided, and no interviews were conducted to find out what happened when the incident occurred," the speaker went on. "I cannot say any details at this time because this is about my son's mental health, not about my husband, and I cannot stress that enough. When the time comes, we will have the opportunity to submit the evidence that has been accumulating since 2017 in court, and no, it has nothing to do with my husband. I would love privacy at this time for my own mental health and my family's well-being," the TV personality said in closing. Jenelle has persisted in expressing her support for David on social media, continuously criticizing Barbara and placing the blame for Jace's mental health on him. Last month, in response to remarks made by fans criticizing her devotion to her husband David, Jenelle blasted them, saying she will always choose men over her kids. Jenelle took offense with the claims in a caustic TikTok that was captured while she was driving. "Because I post a picture of me and my husband of a photo shoot that we did, like 3 months ago, before any of these incidents happened. I'm a horrible person," with a caustic question. Then, the 31-year-old moved her camera over to show David, who was seated in the passenger seat quietly. Jenelle stated, "The last time I checked, David was a member of our family," as she persisted in defending their union. "Furthermore, I won't pick one over the other. Why must I make a decision?" She went on to brag about her partner, emphasizing that he has supported her during her current crisis and melancholy. "He has been helping me, despite the fact that he is sitting here accusing me of everything." In November, the U.S. Sun exclusively disclosed that following the purported attack, 16-year-old Marisa, David's daughter, was questioned by Child Protective Services. Marisa has spoken to CPS by now, and it was supposed to be with Jenelle and David's lawyer present, according to an insider. Jenelle has also had at least one conversation with CPS regarding her daughter Inslee, who she has with David, and her son Kaiser, whom she shares with her former partner Nathan Griffith. Jace hasn't spoken to Jenelle since David's purported attack, a source informed the U.S. Sun. Jace has not spoken to Jenelle since the incident, and Jenelle hasn't reached out to try to talk to him, either, a source said. A judge decided in November that Jenelle cannot see or talk to the teenager unless he makes the first move to make contact. Meanwhile, other sources claim that David has been barred from having any communication at all with Jace. Gag order was placed on Jenelle's Child Protective Services case earlier this month, after it was claimed that her public comments supporting David had further distressed Jace emotionally. The unnamed source stated that CPS had made the request for the gag order at the end of November. According to them, CPS also got in touch with Jace's father, Andrew Charles Lewis, who isn't even close to the 14-year-old, but is a party to the case. Andrew acknowledged the gag order when contacted by the U.S. Sun. "It cannot be discussed, clearly. Sorry, it's been officially muzzled," Andrew remarked, declining to elaborate. Although the exact penalties the court will apply in the event that the gag order is broken are unknown, they usually consist of anything from jail time to monetary damages. On November 29, David was supposed to appear in court in relation to his child abuse case. However, he did not show up. Instead, the lawyer David hired is on maternity leave until January, so a local attorney appeared on his behalf and asked for a postponement. The court date was rescheduled for January 18 after the judge granted the continuance.